Hello everyone and welcome to this new video about ListOf. There has been a couple of developments happening on the project, so I thought it was time to put together a new full demo of the application so that you can have an overview of the key features it contains. Repository is available on github/alexisroland/listof. So let's get started. I have a fresh instance running here locally on my machine. It's fully Dockerized, and here the IP used by Docker is what you can see here on my computer. I'm going to log in with the default user created when you set up the application. It's admin with password admin. And the first thing I'm going to do is to create a new list. Same use case as usual. If you have watched my other videos, it's going to be Star Wars planet with the description, list of planets in Star Wars movies. I can select a user group, so user groups are used to manage visibility rules in the application. You can create users and user group from the admin button, and it defines which user groups the user belongs to and what list he can see in the tool. In my case, I have only one default user group available, public, which means everybody will see this list. Okay, list is created. I'm going to add a new attribute. I want my planet to have a name. Planet, or name of the planet. Okay, I want it to be mandatory and unique, and I want it to be of type text. I can add a default value if I want, but I'm not going to do it here. Okay, let's add some value. So I have my list with one attribute. I can click on view values and I will add a first planet, let's say Tatooine. Second one, Hoth. And a third one, Alderaan. Oops, like this. Okay, let's take 1 minute to step back from there and see at what happened in the backend once I have done all those steps. So I'm going to connect to the PostgreSQL database which powers ListOf. I have this SQL client here. It's connecting to my local host with the user's Postgre and the password that have been defined when setting up the tool. So let's connect, and if I go to the public schema, I will see a table called Star Wars Planet, which has automatically been created based on my list, and it contains a couple of metadata, a primary key named ID, created date, updated date, by whom, etc., as well as that name attribute which we added. Note that it contained a small red key here because it's unique and mandatory, so it's part of the key of the record. Now, if I look at the data, I can see the three values which I input through the web form. Tatooine, Hoth, Alderaan. Now, data is now available directly from the database, and you can use your different ETL tools to fetch it for your data pipeline. You can also query on it from the GraphQL API, which is automatically updated as we create new tables and attributes. So if I search for Star Wars planets, I can see all the different GraphQL options I have here. Query all Star Wars planet in particular. Let's give you an example. So all Star Wars planets, nodes, and planet name. Up. There we go. Simple query. I'll come back to that right after. Now I want to add a second list to my database, and to do that I will use the duplicate feature as a demo. So that list will be Star Wars characters. I just want to reproduce the same structure here with one list with one simple attribute called name. So I'll do duplicate list. It gives me a prompt where I have to put the new name the name of my new list, Star Wars character. I can decide to duplicate the data as well or not. In my case, I'm not interested in the planet, so I will not use this parameter. It duplicates the list. I have a new Star Wars character list. It has created the corresponding table in the backend, Star Wars character. I'm just going to rename the description here, list of characters in Star Wars movies. And I think I had a description of the name attribute as well, name of the character. Okay. Now I'm going to add a second attribute, which is going to be a relationship between my characters and my planet. I'm going to call that attribute planet, and it will be home planet of the character. No need to be mandatory or unique, but it's going to be a link with the list Star Wars planet here, and in particular the name of the planet. So I select that. I can select a default value if I want. Just for the fun, let's take Tatooine. Okay, and now I'm going to add some values to this Star Wars characters list. View values. Let's add Luke Skywalker. And I'm add Leia Organa as well, with a different planet. Let's say Alderaan. And let's add one more, Han Solo. I know he's not coming from Hoth, but for the sake of the example, okay, let's do that. Alright, so I have my two lists. Let's take again 1 second to see what happened in the DB. I'm going to refresh my schema, refresh, up. And here I have now my Star Wars planet and Star Wars character table. The Star Wars character table contains two attributes, name and planet, and the planet column is actually a foreign key to the planet attribute. So it stores the primary ID of the planet I selected from the web form, which means it basically generates a pure, clean, third normal form data model in the backend. If we look at how you can query that from the API, because it's GraphQL, so you can actually query both tables in a single HTTP request. So let's just refresh this. And I'm gonna query from Star Wars planet. I want to see the Star Wars characters by planet. So it's gonna give me all the characters which belong to, or which have that home planet. Nodes, name, up. And there we go. Tatooine, Luke Skywalker, Hoth, and Solo, Leia Organa, etc. It's pretty cool. Okay, next feature I would like to show is the download and upload feature in a list. So I'll do that on the Star Wars planet list, which is a little bit simpler. The download is super straightforward. You click on the button. It gives you a CSV file which contains all the data that you have in your list. So in our case we have all the attributes and our 3 records, Tatooine, Hoth, Alderaan. Now what if I want to add a new planet to this list with the upload? So you can click on the upload button. You have this prompt with a couple of guidelines to follow regarding the upload format of the file, or the format of the file to upload. It provides you in particular a template you can use if you're not too sure how to do it. So I'm opening it here, show in folder, open with code, and you can see it's going to upload only the attributes that we have created, like name and ID. So if it contains a value in the ID, it's going to update the corresponding record in the list. If the ID remains empty, it's going to insert the record. So let's say I want to update the planet number 2 and say that it's actually planet Earth, and I want to create a new planet Saturn. Okay, not very Star Wars like, but I'm starting to lack of ideas. Okay, I have my 2 records. Let's select that file. Download. Okay, there we go. It's ready. Upload. It successfully uploaded 2 records, and now I can see in the back planet number 2 became planet Earth, and planet number 4 has been inserted, planet Saturn. That's for the upload. Easy enough. What I would like to show you before moving to the admin section is maybe the search feature, so you can search based on all columns or on a single attribute. So let's say I want to search for Earth or all the planet which contain a U, etc. And you can search also on specific name, Tatooine, case insensitive obviously. Okay, next quick feature is the backup and restore. So it's in particular useful if you have multiple instances of ListOf, you need to synchronize data across them. The first backup of, feature allows you to create two packages, one that contains the metadata of your list, what we call the definition data, so it contains user groups, lists and their attributes, and the second package will contain the actual data inserted into those lists. So I'm going to download both to show you the two packages that are being generated. Okay, so I have the definition data, extract all here. I can see syslist, sysattribute. So if I open this, you will have a CSV file with the attribute of the list. And if I go back to the list data, extract all as well. Then I have one file per list for Star Wars planet and Star Wars characters with an index number, which is used to define in which order the files must be inserted. So if I open this with code, Star Wars planet has to be inserted before the characters because the characters have a relationship with the planet. You can see the data, ID, created date, updated date, until the actual name of the planet. Okay, the import is fairly straightforward, but I'm not going to do it because it would fail. The data is already there. But if you select one file, so let's take the definition data. Okay, it's unzipping the file and proposing you the list, proposing the file to be uploaded. This is it for the demo. I hope you enjoyed. The repository is available on GitHub as mentioned at the beginning of this video. Feel free to check it out and thank you for watching.